The kids are now back in school, which means kid lunchboxes are back. They started school later than normal this year. We typically always go back like early August, but the whole county didn't go back until September. So that was very different for us. We definitely enjoyed the longer summer break though, but I will say I am glad to get back into a routine. And I know a lot of you guys enjoy these videos, so I'm excited to start sharing them again. So this was their very first day of school, and I'm starting by priming their thermoses. These are the same thermoses that they used last year. They've held up great, and I've always talked about how important it is to prime your thermos. All that means is adding some boiling water to it, adding the lid, and letting it sit anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. Now, on their first day of school, I always try to make it as special as possible, and I asked the kids what they wanted me to make for their lunch, and they both agreed on chicken noodle soup and grilled cheese. So I said, sounds great, let's do it. So I did make this chicken noodle soup the day before the first day of school. No way I was going to do that the morning of. But I am going to go ahead and share that recipe. Not only does it make for a good lunch, but it would also be a really great recipe to save for dinner for the colder months ahead. This one is so good. So I started by melting a tablespoon of butter, and I added in about a cup of chopped celery and a cup of diced carrots. I did season those with onion powder, but you could replace that with actual onions if you wanted to. And I also did add in a big spoonful of minced garlic, and I'm just going to saute these veggies down for, I'd say, about a good 5 minutes. And then once those start to get tender, I'm going to add in about a 1/4 cup of flour, as well as some salt, pepper, thyme, and oregano. I will, of course, have this recipe linked in the description box if you want like a printable recipe. But once I added in the flour and seasonings, I just cooked that down for a couple of minutes. And then you want to add in 8 cups of chicken broth. I actually messed up and only used 6, and I didn't realize that until much later, but don't worry, I did fix it the next day when I heated it up. I did add in some more chicken broth. But yeah, I added in a medium diced potato. I've never done that with a chicken noodle soup, and I really love the addition of that. But once I added in the potato, I brought it up to a boil, and I let that simmer with the lid like partially on there for about 25 minutes. So after that 25 minutes, you want to go in and give it a good stir. Make sure nothing's stuck to the bottom, and make sure that potato is tender. Then you can add in about 2 cups of cooked and shredded or chopped chicken. You could use a rotisserie chicken if you wanted to. I actually just took 2 chicken breasts and seasoned them up and baked them in the oven and used that. I also added in a cup of half and half, and then you can do anywhere from 3 to 4 cups of dried wide egg noodles. And I'm just adding that in there, making sure it's covered by the liquid. And then once it started to bubble, I went ahead and set a timer for 10 minutes. That should be the perfect amount of time to get those noodles cooked. So here we are after the 10 minutes. Everything is cooked to perfection. So what I did, again, I made this the night before. I let it completely cool down, stuck it in the fridge, and then the morning of their first day of school, I pulled that out, added some more chicken broth to it, and just heated it up on the stove, and that worked out perfectly. So I dumped out that boiling water out of their thermoses after it had sat there for a good 20 minutes. And then I always like to use this cheap little cannon funnel that I got from Walmart years ago. I placed that on top of the thermos, and it just makes it easier to get the food in there without making a complete and total mess. I do still make a little bit of a mess, but I like it. I like using that tool there. But as soon as I get the food added into the thermos, I immediately seal that lid on to trap in that heat. You want to trap it in as quickly as possible so that it will actually be hot when they go to eat it. And I will say that like soups is the #1 best thing to pack in a thermos. It always holds its heat so well. So in the top of my kids' thermoses is where you put the spoon. It folds out into a regular sized spoon, so that is great. And then there is the grilled cheese that I made when I was heating up the soup. I like to use the Kraft singles for grilled cheese. It melts so good. We all love it. And my kids just absolutely love taking grilled cheese to school. No, it's not going to stay hot in these boxes, but they don't care. They just love the buttery toastiness and cheesiness of it. And in the other compartment of this box, I'm going to give them some raspberries. They picked up loving raspberries over the summer, so that is great. I did soak those quickly in like a vinegar wash and then rinse them, dried them. And then lastly, I made them these adorable little pencil cookies. I saw this on Pinterest a few years back. I've had it saved, and it's just something I've always wanted to do for them. Perfect for the first day of school or really any day of the school year. And of course, I'm going to quickly show you how I did it. So I picked up a package of these vanilla cream wafer cookies. I have not had these in so many years. I forgot how good they are, and they're really cheap. But this is so easy to do. As you can see, you just one by one lay down a cookie, and then with a knife you're just going to cut 2 little pieces off of the top to form the tip of a pencil. Literal seconds. So easy. I did decide to make quite a few of them. We all ate on these for a few days, and these are seriously delicious. So you can do whatever you want to make pink chocolate. Showed you what I use. I also got the Ghirardelli white chocolate. I started by melting down the pink wafers in the microwave, and I'm just going to take the flat end of the cookies and dip it into the pink chocolate to resemble the tip of an eraser. That chocolate was a little bit thicker than I expected, but once I got in the swing of it and got the hang of it, this went pretty quickly, and I was pleased with how it turned out. So now I melted down the white chocolate as well in the microwave, and you're going to need some mini chocolate chips. So now you're going to take the pointy end of the cookie and dip it in that chocolate. You do have to be pretty careful with this because these cookies are pretty fragile. But as soon as I dipped it in the white chocolate, I immediately go in with a chocolate chip on the end of it to resemble, of course, the tip of a pencil. So I'm going to do one more for y'all. Just dip it in, add the mini chocolate chip, and then I'm going to repeat that to all of them. And I just absolutely love how these turned out. It really was so simple, and it made my kids happy. They truly love these, and me and my husband did too. Like I said, these were some really good cookies. I think I might make this a tradition and do this like every year for the first day of school. Now I'm just going to get everything packed up and ready to go. I always like to include a napkin in their lunchbox, and when they pack a thermos, I like to make sure that the opening of it is faced towards the top of the handle. I'm sure you don't have to, but it gives me ease of mind. I'm going to give them each a Capri Sun. I'm including that ice pack, of course, and then I'm going to get those sealed up, and the kids are off to their first day of 3rd grade and 5th grade. So here is how the kids did. As you can see, they absolutely demolished everything. They truly loved this whole lunch. Up next, I'm going to make my kids some peanut butter and jelly tacos. I thought this was such a fun idea. All you need is some sandwich bread and something to cut a large circle out of the bread. I just so happen to already have this large biscuit cutter. It came in a set from Amazon. I've had it for many years now, but if you didn't have like a biscuit cutter like that, I'm sure you could use like a large cup, just whatever you have. You can even use a knife to cut a circle if you had to. But I am going to make 4 of these because I'm going to give the kids 2 each. Got the Jif peanut butter out. That's our very favorite, always will be. And this is new, I think. I've never seen it before, but at Walmart I saw this raspberry jam in the squeezable container, so I was excited to purchase that and try it out. And we all really like it. It's got a little bit of a tartness to it. So anyways, I'm just taking about a spoonful of peanut butter, and with a butter knife, I'm just getting that evenly spread out. Now, I know a lot of schools, you're not allowed to bring peanut butter, but that has never been an issue at my kids' school. If I ever heard otherwise, I would absolutely not pack it, of course, but I know there's alternatives to peanut butter if you can't have it or if your kid has an allergy. But next, I'm just adding a little bit of that raspberry jam down. One thing that I noticed about it is how easily it spread. It spreads so beautifully. Sometimes you get jellies and they're just like super difficult. not this one. But now I have just took a few strawberries and I just diced them up into small pieces, and I'm just going to kind of add that down the middle. Now my son really likes blueberries, so I am going to add a few of those onto his. My daughter currently does not like blueberries, so what I'm going to do for her is I'm just going to give her some extra strawberries on hers. Now when you pick these up, they resemble a taco. That's where they get their name, but I just think that these are adorable. My kids loved them. It's just a different way to serve up a peanut butter and jelly. Now I am putting these in their bento box. This is the same one they've had the last couple of years. We all absolutely love them. And that piece where I'm putting the tacos in, you can either leave that in or take it out. Obviously, I'm leaving it in. Now, these Danimal smoothies, my kids have always loved these. These are a big hit in their lunches. This day, I am giving them the watermelon flavor. In that smaller compartment of the box, I'm just going to give them some more strawberries. It's their #1 favorite fruit, and honestly, it's just one of their favorite snacks. I am always buying strawberries, and they go through them so quick. So I knew they'd appreciate some extra. And then in the big compartment, I'm going to give them some Pringles. I'm giving my son some plain ones. He's actually pretty picky when it comes to chips, but he's also the kid that was eating lobster, crab legs, and shrimp with the heads on during vacation. But my daughter likes the sour cream and onion ones. And then we're a big Baby Bell loving family. I bought the variety pack this time, so I'm giving them each one of the white cheddar ones. I've actually not had that yet, but they both loved them. I actually made what felt like a huge mistake here, and I didn't even realize it until my kids got home from school and they told me. It's obvious that I had been out of the lunch packing game for the last few months, but I got their boxes mixed up. I gave my daughters my son's, and I gave my son's box to my daughter, and I felt really bad about it because, again, my daughter doesn't like blueberries, and my son wanted the plain Pringles, and I was also a little worried that I might have accidentally embarrassed Boston because that box was purple when he pulled it out. And, not to say that boys can't like purple. I'm not saying that at all, but I just know how he can be. But they honestly didn't seem to mind. Like, it worked out. It was fine. Now, anyways, moving on. So every day they do take a water bottle to school to sit on their desk. And this is the drink mixes that I buy for them. It's the Dole brand, and it's completely clear. It's dye-free, and they just love the taste. It also encourages them to actually drink their water, so it just works for us. Now, this cup that I'm pouring into, that is my daughter. She's the one in 5th grade. She got this cup at the Ron John shop while we was on vacation this summer. That's what she wanted to take to school. And then this cup is a built cup from Walmart. That's what Boston wanted to use. Hers is a lot bigger because, she is older, but also she's just always drunk more than him. I told him that we need to start working on drinking more water, but that's their cups for the year. And then here's how they did. They both did really good. Obviously, Riley took off the blueberries, which is perfectly fine. And some of the strawberries fell off of Boston's taco, as he said. But the biggest thing here is he ate those sour cream and onion chips only because he didn't know that's what they were. And he liked them. I could not believe it because I've never been able to get him to try those. So that was a win. Up next, I'm going to be trying out something new with the kids, something that I really thought that they would enjoy. I'm going to make them a strawberry cheesecake quesadilla. So in this small mixing bowl, I've added a half a block of room temperature cream cheese. And to that, I've added in 2 tablespoons of just regular granulated sugar. And I did a small splash of vanilla extract. So I'm just going in with a small spoon and kind of smashing it together, folding it together, whatever I got to do to get it nice and smooth and creamy, just like this. And then once I got it to that consistency, I added in a half a cup of diced strawberries and just simply folded that in. So now I'm going to start assembling the quesadillas. So I've just got 2 regular sized tortillas laid out here. I just plopped on a big old pile of that strawberry cheesecake mixture in the middle, and then I'm just doing my best to spread it out. Well, for whatever reason, that spatula just wasn't getting the job done. It was like pushing the strawberries in weird ways. I don't know. But I ended up switching to the spoon, and for whatever reason, that just worked a whole lot better. Now, I will say I had quite a bit of that cheesecake mixture left over. So you can definitely probably get 3 or 4 out of this, but no worries, that did not go to waste. I just consider that my breakfast, and it was delicious, let me tell you. So now I'm going to start frying up those quesadillas. I always like to cook my quesadillas in butter, makes it so good. And then I'm just going to add that tortilla down with a cheesecake side up, obviously. Top it with another tortilla, and I fried it for a few minutes on like a medium heat. And then I took the quesadilla out, rebuttered the skillet, and flipped it on over. So now, as soon as I flipped it and that butter was still nice and hot and a little bit wet, I added some cinnamon sugar to it. And then when it was done on the other side, I did the same thing. I added cinnamon sugar to both sides. So I cooked the other one up off camera, and then I went in with a pizza cutter and I just sliced it into 4 wedges. I think that this looks and sounds so good. Like I said, I did have the feeling and love that, but I didn't have it with the buttery cinnamon sugar tortilla. But I need to make that for myself soon because I just thought it looked so good. And the kids told me that they loved it. So I just stacked that in their bento box. And then I picked up this tricolor package of grapes at Kroger. So I got 3 different kinds of grapes in one package. And I always slice my kids' grapes in half. I have preached about that in previous videos. Yes, they're older, but I'm always going to slice their grapes. They both love Cheez-Its, so in a large compartment of their box, I'm going to give them both a generous amount of those Cheez-Its. Now it's time to get it packed away. Gonna give them a napkin. And look here, I almost did the same thing. I almost mixed up their boxes. I don't know what is wrong with my brain in the morning time. I've always said it. I cannot function early in the morning. It cannot just be me. But here's how they did. Riley just had a few grapes left, and Boston had about half of his grapes and left one of the quesadilla pieces. Another thing that both of my kids really love to take to school in their lunchbox is pizza, but I have never bought the Great Value, like personal size, deep dish pizzas. So this is the first time buying these. I was going to get the pepperoni, but they were sold out and I was out of pepperonis myself. So they were fine with just having cheese pizza, but I did throw those in the oven. I baked them right before they headed off to school. So while that's in the oven, I am going to prep the sides. So I saw something maybe on Facebook of like something called apple fries. I mean, it's just how you cut them, and that's kind of stuck in the back of my mind. I'm like, I want to try that out, but I didn't really put too much thought into it. I already had this little tool. It came in like a little cooking set that my son got for Christmas a few years back. So mine didn't really turn out like I envisioned, more of like a crinkle cut, apple wedge, but hey, it's still fun, still cute, still a little different, so we're just gonna go with it. Now, originally, I was gonna give each kid an apple, but these were on the big side, and these are Golden Delicious apples, by the way. Those are our favorite. I can only find those at Save-A-Lot for whatever reason, but I ended up just giving them each a half an apple because, as you can see, just half an apple per kid still ended up being quite a bit, and I know their appetite. Also, I wanted to mention I didn't do anything to those apples to keep them from turning brown. I stopped doing that, where I pack my kids' lunches right before they head out to school. And, I take them to school. They only have to sit in the lunchbox like 2, maybe 3 hours. So, my kids have never complained. Everything's fine. So I did pick up some caramel, and I'm just adding some to these little disposable cups that come with a lid. Got a big pack of those from Walmart forever ago. They last us a long time, and they're so great for so many things, but I'm just filling them up with caramel about halfway so they can dip the apples in them. They love, caramel with their apples or peanut butter. But now the pizzas are done. Took them out from the oven, and when I first saw these, I was nervous because to me that looks amazing, and my daughter as well, but my son can be picky when stuff comes out like too brown or too golden, so I was really worried if he was even going to touch it, but he, for whatever reason, didn't mind this day. I'm so thankful. Both of the kids really love this pizza. They both asked me to buy it again. as I was closing up these boxes, I ran into a small problem. The box would not close where I had that caramel. The cups were too tall. So I had to improvise. I just simply rearranged the pizza, put the caramel in with the pizza, and I quickly grabbed some of these birthday cake flavored animal crackers. I just couldn't stand to see that left open, with nothing in it. But those are from Aldi. I've just recently started shopping at Aldi. I'm really enjoying it. So those are dye free and we all like them. So here I am packing everything up. We're going to switch up the drink this day. I've noticed that Mott's have came out with juice boxes. So we're going to try out the strawberry banana for them. It came in a variety pack of flavors and they really liked them, and I've even had one and they're super good. So definitely going to repurchase the Mott's juice boxes. Haven't tried the other flavors yet, but that's what we're starting with. And here is how they did. They both did amazing. Boston just left a couple apple slices. No biggie. Next time I would just give them a little less caramel. Lastly, I'm just going to be packing up lunch for my daughter because my son wanted what the school was cooking that day. In our county, all kids get free breakfast and lunch every day, which is great. And there is a lot of lunches that my kids do like that the school makes. So I definitely don't pack their lunch every day, just on the days when they don't want what the school cooks. So that's what I'm going to try to film the videos for you guys. So anyways, I'm making her a salami and cheese cream cheese roll up. So this is just a tortilla. I spread on a thin layer of whipped cream cheese, and then I just picked up this salami from Walmart, and I'm gonna lay down 4 slices of that salami. And then I picked up this ultra thin provolone cheese. As you can see, it's like paper thin. So I am gonna do 4 slices of that. As you can see, it's like see-through once you lay it down on the salami. That shows you how thin it is. But that's it. I'm just going to tightly roll it up. My daughter loves these roll-ups. It's one of her favorite lunches to take to school. She likes like any type of deli meat. She's also big on sandwiches, so she's like really easy to pack for. She loves her like meat and cheese. I did switch that on over to a cutting board. I don't know what I was originally thinking, but I'm just gonna slice it into these little pinwheels. As you see, they come out so cute. You could also do like mayo, but my daughter does not like mayo. A lot of times for wraps or roll-ups, I will do ranch. She loves her ranch, but I didn't know how good that would go with the salami. I feel like cream cheese and salami go hand in hand, but maybe some ranch with salami wouldn't be too bad. Maybe we'll give that a try like on the weekend, see if she likes it, and if she does, I can do it for school. So anyways, I'm just going to stack this in this little box. I've had this box forever, got it at Walmart, very cheap, like a little less than $4, I believe. I have a lot of glass containers, but obviously you can't send kids with glass containers, understandably, so these little cheap containers work great. Now, in that other compartment, my daughter loves Funyuns, specifically the mini ones, so I filled the other section up with that. To her, that's the perfect lunch. I did throw in a banana to give her something healthy, and I'm going to get her one of these raspberry fruit bars. Also got that from Aldi. We all really like them. And she requested a couple Slim Jims in her lunchbox. That's another one of her favorite things. And then we're going to do another one of the Mott's strawberry banana juice boxes. In a lot of my previous videos like this, I usually get a couple comments asking where I get things like the lunchbox. So I do want to say that this year I did get their lunchboxes from Target. I have always got them Pottery Barn Kids lunchboxes and backpacks until this year. I said I'm probably not going to do that anymore. So this is the one that they went with, and I really like them. So here's how she ended up doing. She ate everything except for the banana. That banana aged a lot within a day. But that is all I got for y'all in today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope that it was helpful. And if you are watching and you have kiddos going to school this year, I really do wish them all the best school year.